What's up, everybody? Caesar Madrazo here, and we are back with more Doki Doki Blue Skies. Now, yesterday I told you guys to vote on which of these two choices I should go with, Yuri or Natsuki, and the vote came out to 11-6 in favor of Yuri, so that's who we're going to go with. So, let's dive right in. Hey, could you help me pick out a book you think I'd like? I'd be happy to, if the prospect isn't too off-putting. I know of a wonderful horror novel. To be honest, horror never really particularly appealed to me. Still, I want to make an effort here. I have an open mind. What book were you thinking of? Blushing, Yuri bends down and removes a thick book from the bookcase. It has a large, piercing eye on the cover. It almost feels like it's staring into my soul. Alright, so we all know this is Portrait of Markov. One of my personal favorites, Portrait of Markov. I know it might look intimidating, but sorry. She shakes her head and goes to put the book back, but I stop her. Don't worry about it, I'd love to check it out. What's it about? A coy smile plays across her face, as though she were pleasantly surprised by my enthusiasm. Yuri being coy? That, I don't know, I guess that's kind of characteristic of Yuri? I don't know, I'm not too sure. Let's see, the protagonist is a young high school student who moves in with his sister, but shortly after, sinister things start happening. The two are captured by an ominous cult that practices nightmarish experiments on their prisoners. Throughout the story, she's forced to make choices no one her age should have to make. In the process, her ability to trust others is warped, and many of her relationships are broken as a result. Pretty dark, but hey, I'd be lying if I said it doesn't sound interesting. Well, it definitely sounds pretty engaging. I think I'll read this book then. Natsuki mumbles something, but she's just barely out of earshot. Really? You don't have to if you don't want to. I do. While this might not be what I usually pick, your description of the plot intrigued me. Although I have to ask, what makes this your favorite book? If I had to put it into words, I suppose I'm a big believer in literature's ability to challenge the psyche, so to have such an immersive tale question your ideals and foundations can be extremely exhilarating. She smiles and twirls a long lavender strand of hair around with her finger. Words are immensely powerful. They can paint stunning portraits, invoke emotion, or even whisk oneself away to an entirely new dimension. As she continues to speak, she transforms from the timid girl I just met into a proud and confident expert. I get the impression that she feels more at home with books rather than other people. Isn't that exhilarating, Caesar? We have such a vast vocabulary at our disposal. With such a powerful resource at our fingertips, we can do anything. I clear my throat, hoping that I don't put her off with my evident inexperience. Yeah, when you put it that way, I can understand how powerful the written word can be. I scratch the back of my head nervously. Fortunately, she finds that to be a satisfactory answer. One must look at the words the author chose. We have so many synonyms, so what compelled the author to shape their story the way they did? The feeling I get when I finally finish a truly compelling novel, it leaves me totally breathtaking. I wish I had something as coherent to respond with. We might as well be from different planets. I think I know what you mean. She closes her eyes, pulling her hands down to her chest. Then, as though remembering she's not alone, she suddenly blinks and immediately appears more bashful. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. I must have gotten lost in my train of thought. She fidgets with a thin clip in her hair, sliding it up and down. Hey, don't worry about it. It's nice to see you talk about something you obviously enjoy. Who's to say otherwise? Yuri glances over to Natsuki, who simply raises her eyebrow in reply. Does Natsuki not like these kinds of stories? She sighs and turns to look out the window. That's putting it lightly. We have our differences in what we enjoy literature-wise. She frowns slightly, as though pained by Natsuki's apparent disapproval. Well, I think everyone's different tastes are what make literature interesting, especially when talking about it with other people. I can't help but grin. I feel like that was actually pretty clever. Nah, it was about as clever as the, cheesy, typical dialogue that we saw in the first game. However many of you saw my playthrough of the original game, you probably heard me comment about how a lot of the, moral solutions that the player character provides to the girls is kind of like really basic stuff that if you're in middle school, you probably already know. And, I don't know, maybe the fact that the character is grinning at his, very basic response is kind of the authors of blue sky is kind of poking fun at that. I don't know. Yes, that's a good way of looking at it. I reach over and take Portrait of Markov from her, tucking it under my arm. Well, I'll give this a bit of a read and see how far I can get tonight. I appreciate you giving it a chance, even if it's something you're not something you're used to. I'll be looking forward to hearing your opinion. I must warn you, though, once you get past the first few chapters, you might have trouble putting it down. And perhaps tomorrow, I mean, if you wanted to, we could discuss it. Oh yeah, that's right. This is still the first day. Like, the player character literally just entered the club for the first time. He hasn't even said whether or not he's going to join yet. He's just, he's talking to the characters as if this is the first day he already joined. But no, this is the day he's meeting all the girls still. So, the pace is moving a little bit quicker than it did in the original. Which, I guess that's a good thing, since the mod developers probably know that people would kind of get tired of seeing, you know, the same story just rehashed with different wording and everything. So that's probably a good thing. She looks quite nervous as she suggests that. Guess that's just how her personality is. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. Okay, so now it sounds kind of like the player is pretty sold on joining the club, even though he hasn't said that he's going to yet. Thanks for the recommendation, Yuri. I do need to branch out and try new things. This will be a good place to start. I'm grateful that I get to read it on my own, at least for now. I honestly have no idea if I'll even like it, and if I were reading it with her and decided I didn't, that might make things a little awkward. With the book in hand, I make my way to a desk. The others are all now preoccupied, so this seems like a convenient time to start the story. It's definitely an unusual book. Horror was never really my thing, but I have to admit the main idea is intriguing and the characters are written well. The more I read, the more I can see why it appeals to Yuri. All that talk about appreciating sophisticated language. While it's not exactly my kind of story, to their credit, the author does a good job building up the rather bleak situation. I've never been particularly imaginative, but even I can picture the scenes in my head. If I weren't so tired, I could probably engage with it more. Over time, I can't help but grow a little bored, though. I guess I've read enough to be able to discuss it with Yuri tomorrow, so I decide to call it there. Looking up, I spot Sayori reading something. Might as well see what she's up to. I've probably read this for long enough. Standing up with a stretch, I make my way over and take a seat next to her. Hey, how's it going, Sayori? What are you reading? As I sit down, I notice that she looks quite content. Nothing much, just reading some stuff for a school project. What about you? You seemed really into your book. Oh yeah, it was a good read, at least as far as I can tell right now. I can't help but wish I sounded a little more enthusiastic. That's great. So how are you liking the club? You're not bored, are you? She looks a little worried, her cheerful persona faltering for a moment. Where did that question come from? It's a bit too early to tell how I really feel about the club. Yeah, it is. He still hasn't even decided if he's joining yet. But I guess, I don't know, it's not that strange of a question for Sayori to ask, considering this is sort of his tryout day. So she's asking if he's enjoying his time trying out the club, so I don't know. Of course not, Sayori. Sure, I haven't been here for long, but I've enjoyed meeting everyone. They've opened my eyes to new stuff. You haven't even said, like, 10 words to Natsuki, man. I think it's a little early to be saying that. I've never been huge on reading, but I'm confident the literature club could change that. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're involved. You don't want to join a club that you have no interest in, right? I know what you mean. I think reading will grow on me in time. Actually, do you mind if I sit with you and read? She looks at me clearly surprised. I don't think she was expecting me to sit next to her. Nonetheless, she seems happy. Her smile is infectious, lifting my own spirits too. That would be great, Caesar! We read for a while, which turns into talking fairly quickly, our conversation being a continuation from our chat from the walk to school. It's just nice to sit down and talk with my childhood friend. Who'd have guessed reconnecting would be so easy? I haven't felt this content for as long as I can remember. The good mood reflects on her as well, given that she seems very uplifted and bubbly. I don't know what it is about her that makes me so at ease. Wow, we've been talking for a while, haven't we? Man, I didn't even realize the time. I guess we have been talking for a while. I can see why you come to the literature club so much. There really is a welcome at ease vibe here. It must be a nice change of pace for how hectic the school day can be. I was hoping you'd say that, Caesar. It really is. And I'm grateful for the others as well. They really help make the club the way it is. I can't help but notice that Natsuki and Yuri seem to be very different, though. Do they argue much? She looks a little downcast at my question. Sometimes, yes, but thankfully it isn't often. I can sense this isn't a topic she likes discussing. Well, that's only normal, I guess. Monica seems like a great president, though. She must be very proud of this club. Just then, Monica gets up from the desk she was sitting at, and faces the classroom confidently. Speak of the devil. Okay, everyone. I hope we're all having a good time so far. There's a good moment of silence during which everyone seems to be glancing at me. Do they want me to respond? I'm honestly having a great time. Thanks for the warm welcome, everyone. Well, it's great to hear that. As it turns out, Natsuki baked some cupcakes for the club, too. Yeah, I know. I was just about to announce it, so let me get them. Let's go sit over there, Caesar. It looks like there's room at those desks for all of us. I dutifully follow Sayori over to where the rest of the girls have pulled up a couple of desks together to form a table. How about I make some tea as well? Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling a bit awkward, I opt to take a seat next to Sayori. If the conversation starts to die out, I can always rely on her to save me. Meanwhile, Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! What? Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white fluffy cupcakes that are decorated to look like little cats. And unlike the original, they actually show the what the cupcake looks like here. However, the blue bar here, I don't know if that's supposed to be like, a ribbon or the tray background, or maybe this is just a mistake for the sprite. I don't know, but either way, no big deal. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make the ears. So cute! I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs them first, then Monica. I follow. It's delicious. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around on my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. If she made it all by herself, that's seriously impressive. It practically tastes professionally done to me. But then again, it's not like I have the most discerning taste palette. These cupcakes are amazing. Thank you, Natsuki. Yeah, you better thank me, because this took hard work to do. Yeah, it seems like it did. Did you make these by yourself, or did your parents help you? Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Are you saying I couldn't have done it myself? No, it's just that it seems professionally made, so I was wondering if an actual baker helped you. Pfft, I wish my dad was a baker, but just because I don't bake for money, it doesn't mean that I can't be good. Yeah, you're right, sorry. I just suck at cooking myself, so I'm wowed by good cooking. I guess I should count myself lucky that I got to try your cupcakes today, huh? Uh-huh, it's not every day that I have the time to bake, so be thankful. The expression on Natsuki's face practically says, bow down before me, peasant. Yeah, that's very Natsuki. Are you expecting Caesar to prostrate himself before you? Looks like Monica had the same thought. Ugh! You can't blame Natsuki for bragging a little, though. Heh, I would, too, if I made these. Yeah, exactly. Natsuki smiles gratefully at Sayori's save. Would Natsuki be one to smile gratefully at being saved like that? I feel like she would just, save face and just, remain cocky. Meanwhile, Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teacher just gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Embarrassed, Yuri looks away. I meant that, Don't worry about it, I believe you. Tea and reading might not be a common pastime for me, but I can at least appreciate it. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. I'm happy that you look like you're enjoying yourself, Caesar. As president of the Literature Club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Oh, that reminds me. I've actually been meaning to ask you something, Monica. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, To be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. I do want to go on, but I just want to take a moment to just look a little bit more at this new Monica sprite here. The way she's standing, It's unique, and just from my perspective, I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, but from my perspective, it makes Monica seem a tad more standoffish, maybe a little bit more sheepish when she's turned to the side like this. It also can come across as a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Aloof. Just, standing to the side, not actually looking directly at the person she's talking to, which I know that, that Yuri, is also turned slightly to the side, so she can come off as kind of the same way if you think about it. Right? Well, no, but with Yuri, we know it's because she's shy. She doesn't look directly at people because she's shy, but Monica's not shy, so when she's not looking directly at somebody, it gives the impression that she just, doesn't really care that much about what the other person is saying. Because Sayori and Natsuki does look directly at the character, unless she's doing the, arms crossed expression, and Sayori, she's turned to the side as well, but I don't know, there's just something different about it. Maybe I know I'm overanalyzing a little bit here, but it's just a vibe that comes across to me when I see this new pose of Monica. Maybe just because I'm so used to the old one. But anyway, just my thoughts. Let's continue. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. But I guess it must be hard to start a new club since everyone's busy settled into their own activities already. You could put it that way. It can be hard to get people invested in things that are brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention like literature. You have to work to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile, but it makes school events like the cultural festival that much more important. Speaking of school events, I don't think I saw your club at the club fair at the beginning of the year. Ha, that's because I hadn't started the club yet. Oh, guess that explains why you don't have any members yet. Yeah, we missed that opportunity to draw in first years who hadn't found clubs yet. It's a lot harder to advertise on a person-by-person basis. And like you said, a lot of people already have other extracurriculars by now. But even so, I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah! We'll do our best. You know it! Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were also delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. Well, dude, you've already made a commitment with Yuri to read Portrait of Markov, so it sounds like you're already in it for the long haul. By the way, I know that everyone here likes reading, but do you guys write as well? Actually, we haven't really done any writing together, funnily enough. And we have a variation of the Play With Me theme here. The piano sounds a little bit brighter, and it also sounds like it's in the background a little bit more. So, interesting rendition here. Do you guys just read and discuss books then? You could say that. Sounds more like a normal book club than a literature club. Oh, okay, we got some drums in the background. Huh. To be honest, I was kind of expecting you all to do stuff like write poetry together. At the word poetry, Natsuki jolts back a bit. Do you not like poetry, Natsuki? What? I don't really have an opinion on it, I guess. Oh, really? With a sly smile, Monica gets up, rummages through her book bag, and returns with a loose notebook page in her hands. I happen to have here a poem called, Hey, where'd you get that? Natsuki springs up and snatches the paper out of Monica's grasp. Don't worry, I didn't steal it from your bag or anything. You dropped it on the way out the other day. I was going to return it, but I couldn't help teasing you a bit before doing that. Well, I'd appreciate it if you kept your nosy nose out of my private work. Your nosy nose? I've never heard that before. Ha, duly noted. And sorry, I just couldn't help glancing over your poem when I picked it up. Your writing style is really cute, Natsuki. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori settles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute! Hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So you do write your own poems, Natsuki? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I just think that's pretty neat. Why don't you share them with the club sometime? Not if everyone's just gonna call them cute. Like Sayori said, there's nothing wrong with being cute, you know. You wouldn't get it. There's nothing worse than trying to get honest feedback from someone and just having them say it's cute. Scorn drips from the word cute. I guess I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, no one does. It's super annoying, you know. Actually, I believe I understand how Natsuki feels. Natsuki looks surprised at Yuri's sudden interjection. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. And when that's all dismissed with a single remark, well, suffice to say, it can greatly discourage you from putting your work out there again. It sounds like both you and Natsuki have writing experiences in common, Yuri. Maybe. Although I didn't mean to speak for Natsuki. Jeez, it's fine. I pretty much agree with what you said, so... A brief moment of silence falls upon us as we all reflect on the conversation, and... So in the original game, Monika's the one who brings up writing poetry, which she'll probably be the one here. Although they might throw a curveball and have the player be the one to suggest it, but let's see. This just gave me an idea, everyone, so it is Monika. We all look quizzically at Monika, who smiles knowingly back at us. If we have members who are looking for legitimate criticism of their poetry, how about we do that here? I'm sure we can all trust each other to be respectful, and I think it'd be a fun activity for us. I don't know if I feel comfortable sharing my old poetry. I didn't write it to be read by the public, so... Yeah, same here. That's fine, we can all just go home and write new poems to bring tomorrow. I was going to suggest that anyway, since I don't think the rest of us have poetry ready to share yet. Yeah, that sounds awesome! I think learning about poetry would be really fun. And now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Caesar? Okay, so this is the point where he points out that he hasn't joined the club yet, even though he's already made a commitment to Yuri at this point. Monika smiles warmly at me once again. The Literature Club has been very welcoming so far, at least after the initial introductions were made. And although I'll have to start writing poems, it seems like a fair price to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. I had my doubts at first, but given how friendly and welcoming these girls are, I don't really see any reason why I shouldn't join the club. Yep, I'll be looking forward to becoming better friends with you all. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the Literature Club. Thank you, Monika. Yes! I'm so happy you're joining us! Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey! And thanks for playing along. She whispers this last remark in my ear, so she was aware that I had never agreed to join in the beginning. That sneaky girl. Although Sayori is the most enthusiastic, all of the girls' eyes are lit up with happiness. I would have been super pissed if you just left after eating my cupcakes. I'm very glad that you're staying as well. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Don't forget tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so that we can hold discussions. Monika looks over at me once more. Caesar, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Haha. Yeah. Can I really impress Monika with my mediocre reading and writing skills? Something tells me no... Jeez, I can already feel... something tells me no. Jeez, I can already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Oh well, it's not like Monika is going to be as harsh as an actual literature teacher though, right? Meanwhile, the others continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, Sayori, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? Given that she introduced me to all of these amazing people, it's the least I can do for her. Sure, let's head home. With that, the two of us wave goodbye to the others and make our way home. On the way back, we discuss the events of the day, focusing particularly on each club member. As we do, my mind wanders between them all. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and Monika. I'm excited to hang out with everyone from now on. Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of them? Alright! I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will follow me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. Alright, so... what have we got here? Is this a transition, or is this like, is this supposed to be the game? Ah, okay, here we are. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Alright, so we are about at the 24-minute mark. So, as was with yesterday, I'm going to let you guys be the ones to make the decision for which route we go with. Which are we going to go with, y'all? Yuri, Natsuki, or Sayori? I saw some people asking for the Sayori route, but yesterday it wasn't about the route. It was just about, you know, who was I going to talk to initially. So for this time, you guys are deciding the route, and instead of leaving a comment below, I will leave a poll on my community page. So it'll be there as soon as this video goes up, so just head on over to the community page and click on which route you want us to do. The Yuri route, the Natsuki route, or the Sayori route. And with that, we're going to call it a day here. Let me save. And that's the end of the video, guys. Until tomorrow, I'm Cesar Madrazo, and I am out.